Hello, everyone, and welcome to Divided by Werewolves, episode 11, the last episode of 2016. We can finally draw this accursed year to an end. But we're going to go out playing Star Wars and talking about Rogue One. Playing Star Wars Battlefront. I guess I need to be more specific, right? Because there's probably a lot of Star Wars games. Although, I don't know if there's a lot of Star Wars games that you could stream on the Xbox, right?
Yeah, no,
I can't think of. In fact, it's been a while since I've actually played a Star Wars game. I think like Jedi Knight 2 and Jedi Academy. Those were probably the last. No, that can't be right.
Force
Knights of the Old
Unleashed.
Republic. Yo, Force Unleashed. Yeah, but I didn't play the second one. I did not. I wasn't a
Oh,
big fan of the first one.
really? Oh, I loved it.
How was the second one? Was it any better? Well, I think part of the problem was I went to E3
Um,
one year that they announced the second one, and they had the trailer for that playing out in the lobby at such a deafening volume that it really soured my desire to ever play the game itself because I went deaf.
gotcha.
Uh,
No, it does. No, if you didn't like the first one, the second one is not going to sway your opinion. It was not quite as good. It was good, but not quite as good.
I just remember the guy that they modeled. What was his name? The guy in the game that
Oh
the
shit, I don't remember.
Vader's apprentice. The guy they modeled him after played Doomsday on the Smallville TV show.
Oh really?
Yeah. Yeah, it was terrible. It was awful. It was awful. He was like an angsty guy who just kind of like would die and then come back slightly less dead. And that was like his thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nothing to write home about. But okay, so what are we gonna do here? Are we gonna we have
Well, it looks like so since you've not played this,
okay.
I thought we'd probably do the I'm using air quotes missions, which
Okay.
are basically they just train you how to play the game.
Like it.
The first one we're going to be flying X-wings over Beggar's Canyon.
Oh, are we gonna womp rats or whatever the hell they're called? Or
Absolutely.
like it. Mr. Bones wants to play Beggar's Canyon with you. I would accept that invite any day of the week. He is now my partner. All right.
The wedge to your Luke Skywalker.
So you saw Rogue One twice, huh?
I did.
And
I saw it because the whole thing was my kids were going to Virginia for 2 weeks over the Christmas break,
okay.
which has been awful. And so I wanted to watch it with them before they left. So we went opening weekend.
Okay.
But my dad also wanted to see it, and my brother. So that's how we did it with Force Awakens. Is we all went. So it was like like the three generations went,
Hmm.
and my dad wanted to do that again for this one. And unfortunately, we couldn't make that happen. So what we did was I took the kids, and then they left town. My brother got into town the very next day, and so then he and my father and I went and watched it for a second time.
Okay. Yeah, I saw it Friday. The day it came out, I went in the morning. I actually skipped the stand-up meeting at work, and I went. And saw it. All right, so here we are.
Yay!
So, did your opinion of the movie change between the first and second viewing? I mean, how much time was there between both viewings? You said it was the next day, or 2 days,
Well,
or
so my brother came into town the next day, but we didn't actually go see it until it was like a week. I had from Saturday to Saturday.
okay. And
Oops.
how much did your opinion of the movie change in the two?
Um, Honestly, so like I said, I wanted to. I'm glad that I got to see it without new Star Wars glasses on because new Star Wars is so exciting.
Oh shit! I
It
just
didn't
hit.
change. Oh shit!
Yeah,
I saw that.
I died.
So
Press
it
A to
didn't
spend a life.
change.
There's lives in this. Why would there be
Yeah.
lives? Sorry.
Not that much actually.
Okay.
Um, it should be stated before we really get into things that I absolutely adore Gareth Edwards movies.
See, the
Uh,
only thing I know. Oh wait, return to combat. Where the hell am I supposed to go? Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, you're all down there. Is it boost or something? Oops. Oh, there's not.
left trigger is throttle, so or left. No, I mean sorry, left stick. So up, back is brakes, and left stick up is
Oh, that would be
throttle.
why. I'm like flying along at a snail's pace. So the only
And
Gareth
left trigger. Sorry.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Left trigger is.
Left trigger is once you get over here to where all the TIE fighters are, left trigger locks onto them. That's very important for the aerial combat in this game.
Okay, I just died again. I was trying to get some token,
Okay.
a bus token, apparently.
Nice.
What does that do? What does this giant floating bus token do? Oh, vehicle repair. That's
Well,
important.
yeah, I was
Not,
gonna
not
say
as
there's
important when all
vehicle
you do
repair.
is smash into canyons.
So some of them are also the hero tokens though, so that allows you to be the Millennium Falcon if you're playing Rebels, and then the Slave One if you're Imperial. And that's on the space, the flying missions.
Oh.
I'm shooting you, so that's not good.
So the only Gareth Edwards
I'm-
movie that I think I've seen, he did the last Godzilla movie, right? With Bryan Cranston?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And my problem with that movie is that when I go to see a Godzilla movie, I kind of expect to see Godzilla in it. So I was really disappointed
yeah.
that it wasn't
That was
like
everybody's thing.
Godzilla just ripping shit like a pro through the whole movie.
Sure, but my response to that from everybody that I read that critique, or my I don't respond to everything I see on the internet, obviously, but like my inner monologue was like watch fucking Godzilla from 1950, whatever the fuck, man. He shows up at the end.
I know,
It's not,
but I
you know,
remember
it's
the
not-
Godzilla movies. Like memories of Godzilla movies when I started watching it was when Godzilla and all the other monsters would team up against a bunch of other monsters, and it was. And I mean, I know it was cheesy as fuck, but it was also just straight on dudes in suits for like 87
Yeah.
minutes or whatever it was. So that, and
Right.
I understand what you're saying, and I like the movie.
Man, I loved it. Oh God,
I
That was
should
one of my
watch it
favorite
again.
movies last year. I saw it in the theater 3 times.
Really? Wow. Now, what else
I
has
was
he
never
done?
bored. I did this movie called Monsters, which there was a really shitty direct-to-video sequel that came out. Well, I mean, I guess Monsters was sort of direct-to-video, it didn't get theatrical, but this movie called Monsters, where again, like I said, I only watched it. I had no idea who anybody was. Yeah, I just knew it was a movie about these giant monsters, and the premise was sort of it was sort of like District 9 a little bit, where at this point of the movie, we were all aware that these monsters existed, and there were these quarantine zones that people weren't allowed to go through and shit. And but there were these people that you could pay who were willing to, take people through these zones if they needed to get through these zones. And this senator's daughter or governor's daughter or something needed to get through there, and so they paid this guy to take her through. No, it's fine, man.
Okay, and did like bad stuff happen?
Well, yeah, well, sort of. I mean, the thing is, like, you see a couple of like the carcasses. These monsters were these giant, like jellyfish mixed with octopus type of fucking weird giant Cthulhu-ish monsters, and it was sort of like Godzilla, man. You only really got one scene. You saw like a couple of carcasses along the way and shit, and of course they ran into things where he's like, we gotta go now, we gotta run and shit like that. But they ended up getting holed up in a gas station during an attack that they couldn't escape from, and so that you got to see the monster outside the gas station, like trying to like wreck shit and trying to get to him inside. But it was a slow burn, and there's really only the one scene really with the monster, but I loved it.
So
yeah, I was super excited for Godzilla, loved Godzilla, and I was really excited for this one.
But this is then a much different type of movie for him then.
Yep.
I mean, it's been 2 monster movies with probably limited budget. Well, I guess Godzilla would have had a pretty big budget.
Yeah, I think the budget for Godzilla was huge. I think, and he may have done something else. These are the only 3 things I've seen, but his thing seems to be, at least I think, is that he tells small stories set in much grander scope, if
Oh,
that
okay.
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's what this movie is. This movie is definitely a
Right. That's
smaller. I
what
mean,
yeah,
it's a small story. It has a huge impact, but I mean, at its core,
sure.
it's a bunch of people get together to steal something, which is a pretty basic. I mean, it's a heist flick, uh,
Yeah,
but the
right.
stakes
Exactly.
are just pretty high. Um, it's funny going into this movie. I didn't know the director. Never, as far as I know, I've never seen anything with Felicity Jones in it. Never seen anything with Diego Luna in it. Of course, I've seen stuff with
Right.
Donnie Yen in it. I've seen stuff with Ben Mendelsohn, whom I love, director Krennic. I love Mads Mikkelsen. I would die for Mads Mikkelsen. So I was, Jin's father. And the guy Bodhi, the pilot who defected, I
Yeah.
knew him from In the Night of the
Oh,
show that was
okay.
on HBO. But other than that, I didn't know anybody else in the movie. So,
Oh, well, I knew that oh shit. I either call him Wash or
oh yeah,
Tucker.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The
Wash, yeah, yeah,
yeah. So I knew he was the
the
fucking
droid.
Jesus, this is really fact. I'm dead already. I knew he was K2SO whatever.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
K2SO. Yep.
Jesus, I forgot how fast this part is. Oh my god. There we go. All right. All right. Yeah, the left stick is your friend on this one, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, pull back.
No way, man. I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
I hear you. Oh, Binky's reckless. I love it. Relentless
Fucking rebels. Damn right.
with the double kill. Hell yeah.
Send a letter home to your moms, cause I won't.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Donnie Yen's the only one I knew.
Well, Ben Mendelsohn. I don't know if you ever watched.
Oh, I'm
There's a
sorry. I know Mads Mikkelsen.
Oh
Obviously,
shit! I was
but
killed by myself. Well, Ben Mendelsohn, he's in this really good show on Netflix called Bloodline. Him
okay.
and Coach from Friday Night Lights. I forget his name.
Oh, I don't know that show either.
And it's a good show. The guy who was on Friday Night Lights, he plays the sheriff's deputy in the Florida Keys, and Ben Mendelsohn plays his like never do well brother who comes back after an extended absence, and then bad shit goes down. And Ben Mendelsohn was great in it. He's also in this movie with Ryan Reynolds where he plays like a gambling addict. They both do. I forget what the name of it is. I didn't like the ending of that movie. But the movie itself, everything up until the end, I enjoyed quite a bit.
Gotcha.
But yeah, he's a really good actor. I like him a lot.
Okay.
Oh shit! I just hit a tree. Killed by myself. I died, so I don't get any more lives. What the fuck? What
We've
kind
expended. Unfortunately,
what kind
I've fucked up and died twice. So
what kind of co-op slash multiplayer game gives you live? Like, I mean, I understand like Overwatch has that for certain game types, but I mean, the whole point of a co-op game is that we're supposed to have fun together, not me watching you. You're doing very well, by the way. Good job. So you said that your second. I'm curious how your view of things changes when you don't have new Star Wars eyes. Are you does that make you more critical of it
I
or
think so. I think that look at that. We're almost dead even. I think I don't know if you're as big of a Star Wars geek as I am, but man,
I
like
lapsed. I have to tell you. So
yeah,
I loved Star Wars. I remember seeing the picture for Star Wars and saying to my dad, I want to go see this movie. And he's like, well, what's it about? And I was like, I don't know, but he's got a laser sword and that's enough for me. And I remember like being
right.
really upset as a kid because I wanted to go see Empire Strikes Back. And it was like a day, it was like over the holidays. I wanted to go see Empire, and my mom was friends with this other woman and they had kids, and they were like, she was like, well, we're going to go see Mary Poppins. And I remember being so upset
Oh,
that I was like, well, I want to go see Empire, and she's like, well, we're gonna go see Mary Poppins, and I was like, I don't want to see Mary Poppins, and she's like, fine, stay home, and I went to see Mary Poppins. But like, I distinctly remember being upset over not being able to see Empire. So I mean, I love Star Wars. I played Star Wars games. I read Star Wars books, and then the prequels happened, and I fucking hated those movies. And
Yeah.
and then I hated what they did with the way they would sell multiple copies on Blu-ray and DVD, and
Yep.
we lost Star Wars. Oh, we found it, you know, and all that. Like
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I hated the way that LucasArts was treating Star Wars and was treating like I liked the expanded universe books, like when they did the whole thing with the whatever the aliens were and Chewie died and all that shit.
Yeah.
But I just felt like the movies that was just they were making shitty movies, and then they were just trying to get as much money out of the fans as humanly possible. And in fact, they did that one.
Absolutely.
They did that one fan movie. I forgot what it was called, where the four people break into LucasArts because the one guy's dying of cancer to see Phantom Menace. Fanboys. And then at the end, they're like, "What if it sucks?" And that just that just bothers me so much because it did suck. Like, I hate that movie.
Yep.
I hate all of those movies. So then when all the trailers for Force Awakens started, and I was just like, I don't want to think this is going to be a good movie. I'm afraid that I'm just going to end up being disappointed again. But then the reviews came out, and they were good. And then I watched it, and I fell back in love with Star Wars, and I've just been back being a fanboy, like, ever since. So,
Well, so for me, unfortunately, well, I sent you an invite, is it not?
Oh, I don't see it. Oh, there it is.
Okay.
Okay, I got it.
Oh shit! Okay.
Nope. It showed up as a little. Oh, here we go. I didn't see this. Well, now it's starting the game, but then
I fucked it up because I hit B as soon as you said you saw it. So I don't know. So my shit was like
stuck in starting game for me. Sessions. Okay, don't do anything. Don't do anything.
All right, I'm not doing anything. All right.
Okay.
So my thing was I was not quite old enough to have seen Star Wars or Empire in the theater.
I don't think I ever saw them. I think Jedi was the first one I saw in the theater.
Well, that was me too. Like that was the first one that I was old enough, and so I begged my mom to take us to see it. Even my brother, who's a couple years younger than me, wasn't quite old enough really to hit the theater for Jedi. But I was like, I got to see this movie. So she took us, and I remember we went, and my brother had an ear infection.
Oh no!
And yeah, so we got to see about 10 minutes of the movie. And then in an effort to spare the rest of the theater from his screaming, she got up and walked out into the lobby with him. And she told me to stay and watch the movie. And I was like, I sat there for 5 minutes by myself. And I was like, I'm not sitting here by myself in this dark theater surrounded by people I don't know, even for Star Wars.
Right.
So I got up and left too. And then, so my dad took me the next day back to the theater, just me and him, and he took me to the mall. I remember I bought a sticker book or something. You remember those books you used to have to punch out masks in the back?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So I got one of those of Jedi, and I got this hardcover storybook of Jedi with the like photos from the movie and the book. I still have it. And so then we went and saw Jedi, and I was like, okay, this was awesome. This was a good day. And I've been like that. Star Wars is like a thing for my family. My brother is to Star Wars as I am to Batman. Like,
oh, really?
It's a thing. Yes, it is a thing for my family. So even the prequels. I hate Attack of the Clones. I am somewhat apologetic for Revenge of the Sith, or at least I was, and because I remember thinking, okay, that wasn't as bad as the other two. And
yeah, but that doesn't make it
good. Right. That's what I'm saying. So at some point, my brain had fooled me into thinking that I didn't hate that movie. It was actually pretty decent. And then I watched all 6 with my own kids, getting ready for Force Awakens. And I could not believe how bad it was when we got to Revenge of the Sith. I was like, oh my Jesus. Like, that is so much worse than I remembered.
I'm gonna
It is
stick with you. What are
not
these
good.
cards that I have, by the way?
They
Like
do
left
different things.
bumper,
So
right bumper.
so left bumper for me is a jetpack. It looks
I think
like it is
that's
for
what
you
it is
too.
for me too. I didn't change anything.
Yeah, I really do. Um, I forget what the Y thing is. I think it makes your weapon more powerful for a few seconds. And then right bumper, we're gonna need that when the AT-ATs show up because we're gonna have to shoot our grenades at those because they're motherfuckers. Also, those red guys are motherfuckers. They have like Gatling guns, and they take more damage. And we'll run into invisible guys. There'll be snipers soon and shit like that. This is not
Awesome.
hard. It's just run around and shoot storm basically.
For it's funny because you talk about like I watched all the three Star Wars movies with my son. My daughter, she doesn't really have an interest in it, and she kind of has. Sometimes she has difficulties following along with movies, and he liked
Okay.
them, and he's seen them. And then I watched the prequel, the first two prequels with him, and and then he never actually asked to watch Revenge of the Sith or whatever. He just was
Right.
like, whatever.
Right. I've seen enough. Enough disappointment.
How am I supposed to use the grenade? Am I supposed to use grenades for this thing, or?
You can do it right bumper,
And
and
then-
then you can shoot your little grenades at, and then you have to wait for them to respawn.
Oh shit! I went to take cover behind this hut.
Yeah, they'll tear those motherfuckers apart.
Yeah, they will. Claim the pod.
Yeah, we got it. So these little power-ups will help us too, depending on which. Oh, I got an orbital strike, so I'm about to pop that shit.
I'm dead.
I'm about to have him for lunch.
I'm gonna spend a life.
Yeah, go ahead. We got an orbital strike incoming, by the way, so don't spawn near me.
Oh, I want to see.
Got him! Yeah!
Time to celebrate, I'm afraid. The Empire has dispatched reinforcements.
Sweet.
So anyway, so then he and I we went to see Force Awakens, and he was just like, "Yeah, it's good," and I was like, "Okay." And then he was we've been having some problems with him of late, so he's not high. Taking him to a movie was not high on my to-do list. To put it as nicely as possible.
All right.
So,
Understood.
and he just basically said, "Hey, I saw there's a Star Wars movie," and I was like, "Yep." And he's like, "What's it about?" And I told him, and then he never mentioned it again. And I think Star Wars for him is one of those things where I think in part he doesn't like it because his dad likes it. But
Gotcha.
I think also, I don't think it's as big a deal with kids nowadays as it was.
It's not. I think it sort of depends on the kid a little bit though, because my daughter absolutely loves it. But the thing is, like, she's me made over.
Right, but
She's super into it.
I think like where my kid is now. I mean, he's 14. He's in middle school. I don't think Star Wars is as big a deal, and so I don't
No,
know
it's not.
if that has something to do with it, or if he just doesn't give a shit because it's just not his thing, or he knows it's my thing, and so that has something to do with it. I don't know, but that's why I went to see it by myself.
Gotcha.
And it was just fine, I mean, I wasn't,
Yeah, sure.
You know what? My dad kind of he always really wanted me to like the shit that he liked, and his stuff that he liked was, sitting in the woods for 4 hours waiting to kill something, and fuck that. So I
Right.
get it. I don't
No shit.
I don't take it personal. If he doesn't like it, he doesn't like it. It's not a big deal. It's just cheaper for me, to go.
That's it. Yep.
But all right. So enough of our background when it comes to Star Wars.
Right, no shit.
Because I can talk about that shit all day.
Me too.
I loved it personally, and I know that I'm sure I actually made a point to not try and read any criticism of it because I was kind of like, you know what,
Yep.
I'm good. Like some movies, I'm not one of these people where if I read criticism of a movie I like that I'm like, well shit, like I take it
Yeah.
personally.
Right.
But I will say that there have been times where I have enjoyed something, and then I read some criticism of it, and I pointed out some things that I didn't think about that then bugged me the next time that I watched it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
sometimes I avoid it because I go, you know what, I like this thing, and I'm okay with, you know, I'm kind of okay with, you know, with whatever plot holes it has or whatever problems it has,
Yep.
because I enjoyed it, and that's enough for me.
That's me. That's me to a T.
Whereas
As
other
we
things,
all know.
yeah. Whereas other things, I can be like, yeah, okay. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things that I like where I'm like, yeah, that was garbage, and I liked
Yeah.
it because it was like I liked it even though it was garbage or whatever. So, but this was a movie that I just was like, you know what? I think I'm just gonna be okay, just liking it and not really spending a lot of time reading if other people hated it or like I remember like the weekend after it came out, like it seemed like the sites every site that had somebody that posted a glowing review, they needed to have like 5 other articles that was like, well, actually, here's all the reasons why it wasn't great, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
yep.
I don't know. It just, I understand that, like, I read a lot of game sites and pop culture sites, but I mean, sometimes you can just let a positive review be a positive review. Like, if somebody writes a review that's like, hey, Final Fantasy 15 gets an 8, you don't need 7 other articles. It's like, well, here's all the reasons why Final Fantasy 15 actually sucks.
Yeah, here's why it shouldn't actually get an 8.
Right, and I'm like, I don't really know why this movie needed that, or like why the sites, if it was just like, hey, it's a popular thing, let's get traffic. I don't know.
We have to keep writing about it, exactly. We can't just be one and done. And also there's clickbait, so you know.
And it just seems, and it just seemed out of place because, like I said, they don't do that with other movies. They don't do that with games.
Right.
But you know, whatever. Anyway, I
mean,
mean,
actually, yeah, I noticed that too.
So I enjoyed it a lot. I loved it. When I watched it, I felt it was a little slow getting started, but I think that was on purpose. But I spent the last 45 minutes of that movie with my hands clenched together in a fist. Like I had one hand in a fist and the other hand over it, pressed together for no lie, like 45 minutes straight.
Yeah.
And you know, I loved it.
I did too. So I love the fact that I think it is again, like I said, Gareth Edwards, it's the smallest in scope as far as the stories go that we've seen, because Star Wars movies are events.
Yeah.
They absolutely are, right? And they're like these giant epic things, and a lot of times they do that Lucas magic where they feel like 2 movies in one.
Yeah.
So, you know, how like Jedi is like, you know, it's Endor / you know, Jabba's palace and Empire's Hoth / so there's like, it almost feels like 2 complete movies in one thing that tells this one story. And so this movie, I love the fact that it's a smaller one. I love that it feels like the most human one to me.
Yeah.
Like it's not this, you know, it almost felt like a war movie.
Yeah.
In some ways, right? Because like the battle is just like, and his other thing is like a lot of times in war movies, the entire premise is that you are centered around this small group of people, this small group of characters who you're introduced to, and they have an objective that they have to accomplish against overwhelming odds, and that's exactly what this movie was.
Right.
So it was a war movie set in the Star Wars universe. You know, it wasn't. There was some humor, but there wasn't a lot. Like it was just, man, it was like the Star Wars movie I feel like I've always wanted.
Yeah, because that's the thing. You know, as much as these movies have always focused on, you know, this giant conflict, you know, in terms of, I mean, you know, the battle for Hoth was you know, kind of a big battle, and obviously blowing up the Death Stars, but you know, due to the budget constraints and things like that, they never were really able to kind of show, you know, battles to the degree that maybe you would want to see, given that like the fate of the universe was on
Right.
was in the balance when you've got a weapon capable of destroying a planet. And the battle
Yeah.
that you're seeing is like, I mean, not to say that it wasn't good, because especially given the time. But also, I think this movie, on the other hand, I mean, I was kind of surprised at some of the choices that they made, like to be like, all right, we're bringing the whole fleet in, and they brought the whole goddamn fleet in. Like, I was
Yes,
like,
sir.
holy shit! Like, this is a full on, this is the.
Well,
this,
that's the other thing that this movie sort of made me realize that maybe I hadn't realized yet, was that this was the first movie where I sort of got to see, or sort of came to, it was abundantly clear just how underpowered or outclassed the rebel, because the rebels kick their shit in every other movie. They talk about how the Empire's this big thing, and the rebels are always like, yeah, well, fuck you, buddy. We got something before that ass. And this movie is like, they're like, I don't know what to do, guys, because we
exactly.
Like they really felt like rebels for the first time for me. Yeah. And that was huge.
Yes. And you know what else I liked about this movie? And this is a really, this is a really stupid thing, but I liked how so midway through the movie, when they're like, fuck it, we're leaving. When Mon Mothma was like, no, we're not doing the mission. It's not worth it, or it's too whatever. We're not doing it. And Jin is just like, we're leaving. They don't do this thing where they try to sneak out or anything. They just fucking leave. Like, they're just like, bye.
Yeah. They're like, yeah. The dude's like, you're not authorized to take that shuttle. And the dude's like, well, we're leaving.
Right. And so many movies, they feel like they've got to kind of pad things out or make it last longer or give some big, I don't know what it was, but I just found it refreshing that they were just like, nope, fuck it, we're out. Like, we're doing this anyway. If you don't want to do it, don't come along, but we're taking off. Tissa just made a comment about the jujitsu, the takedown of the whole stormtrooper squad, and I thought that was fucking great. Like, I loved everybody. I loved everybody in this movie. I loved all the characters.
Yep.
I loved that you had this weird, because I mean the rebels were this, they always were this ragtag bunch of idiots, and I think Rogue One really kind of drove that home, that you've got these people from wildly different skill sets, wildly different backgrounds, but yet they all at the same time have a reason to kind of come together and put their lives on the line for one thing together. The
other thing I liked that so the other thing was like, all right, up until this point, more or less, and you could make the argument this wasn't the case, but more or less, you were either one or the other. You were a rebel, you're Empire.
Right.
So this one, we get extremists, and all this other shit. And I'm like, it felt like such a more real movie to me.
Like, I was like, what the hell? Like, at the very beginning, when Cassian there, is that his name? I always get his name wrong.
Yeah.
Andor. When he killed the informant, I was like, holy shit. Like, did he just kill that guy? And then when he killed one of Saw Gerrera's guys, he's just like, nope, you're dead. You're in the way. And I was like, you don't normally see, like you said, and that's one of the things that I have always had a problem with especially with the prequels, was this whole notion of, with the light and the dark side of the Force, where it was so, it was so black and white, and it just seemed like the moral code necessary to be on the light side was so rigid that I found it impossible that anybody would be able to not fall to the dark side. And they didn't. And when I rewatched Force Awakens, I kind of had that in my mind, and they didn't really do any of that, which I'm assuming it's because, Luke hasn't, tried to train anybody. But the fact that in this movie, because the Force wasn't a factor, they could have those mixes of people. You could have a guy in the rebellion who has, he recognizes the importance of the mission, and if that means he's going to kill an informant, to one, not get found out, but also to make sure that, you know, this guy doesn't tell the enemy something. Well, that's what he's going to do. If that's what it takes, then that's what he's going to do. And I really like the fact that they were willing to do that. That these were the, you know, kind of the, you know, the rebel scum of the rebels.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great way to put it.
Because, I mean, you know, like Han Solo, you know, they always kind of, you know, they definitely, he was the cool guy, you know, he was the smuggler and everything, but he's still, you know, and especially because they fucking changed, you know, that he shot first, you know, they weren't even willing to kind of give him that anymore. Oh, wait, I can call down I have a proximity bomb.
Toss that shit.
I was gonna say, I don't know what I did. Oh, what's this?
Oh, God. It almost hit me.
If we can get him to come around, I have this Gatling gun here. Yeah, if you come by me, there we go. Maybe we can get him to.
There we go. Let's see if he can go up here. Good shot. Nice.
Now, one of the did you how? I mean, they clearly were trying to address plot holes or whatever you want to call it that were in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Did that work for you, or did you feel like it just opened up more of them?
No, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't read a lot of shit like that, so I'm not sure, like, exactly. Like, you know, I don't know. I didn't, you know, these things aren't blatantly obvious to me most of the time because I just go and watch a fucking movie.
Right. Well, they're not to me either, but I do feel like, I mean, okay, so a few things that I had in mind. You know, one of the things that they did, you know, kind of at the beginning of Star Wars is when Vader first gets on that ship, you know, all of those soldiers are absolutely terrified, and they haven't even seen the guy yet.
Right.
Right. And then this guy walks through the door, and if you're, you know, a young kid seeing it for the first time, you're like, oh my god, this guy's terrifying. But I think if you're older, you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, who is this guy? Why is he dressed like this? Is he supposed to be scary? Like, I don't understand, you know, kind of what the big deal is. But yet, at the end of Rogue One, when Vader gets to fucking go ham on those guys, you get an understanding as to why they are so scared, because they just saw him, like, completely annihilate, like, a dozen guys in about a minute and a half. So it makes sense.
I fucking love that. Love that.
It makes sense. And it also gives a chance for, I mean, you knew that Anakin was really powerful. But you kind of saw him being, you know, a powerful Jedi. But because, you know, he doesn't turn into Vader until the end, you never get to see in any of the movies really Darth Vader get to be a badass. And again, I think to a degree that has to do with the budget, you know, and everything, and, you know, the way they were able to make movies and stuff. But at the end of this movie, holy shit, do you get to...
Darth Vader goes full-on Jason Voorhees on some people.
Oh, shit, yeah, he does. Yes, he does.
Like, the whole thing was like, they fucking made Darth Vader scary again. Like, I think that was a big thing for them to do, and I love that he did it, was that he fixed what Episode 3 did by making him a bitch. And good lord, did he... Yeah, no, but good lord, did he fix it? Because Jesus Christ.
Oh, he got a collectible.
Look at me.
Oh shit.
I didn't know there was a pod. That means there's an AT-AT.
Yeah, I'm shooting it and it's shooting me.
I hear it. Okay. Sorry.
No, you're fine. But the one thing I will say that I feel like it kind of opened up is like at the end of so I feel like we're talking about a movie without really explaining anything, but I'm gonna assume at this point people have already seen it. so at the end of Rogue One, where I mean, they're passing the plans and they get on the I forget the name of the ship that they're on, the Corellian freighter or whatever, that or not the Corellian, I forget what the name of the ship is. So it's the ship that gets captured at the beginning of Star Wars, and so like I said, you've just seen Vader kick ass and whatnot. But at the beginning of Star Wars, the guy's like, "What are you doing? We're just a diplomatic ship." And you want to be like Vader, be like, "Bitch, I just saw you. Like, you just dropped out of that big ass ship,
true.
and I just killed like half of y'all. Don't pull that shit with me. I was at Scarif, motherfucker. Like, I know what's what. You trying to play me like that?"
I didn't even think of that.
I mean, you have to give it up now. Now that guy, he's got balls. He's just like, what?
That guy's full of shit.
We're a diplomatic ship, and you wanted to be like, bitch, please. What, you think I wasn't there? But really, that's kind of the only thing that I was like, all right, that now makes slightly less sense.
That's true. That is very true.
That he would say that, but it's such a small thing. I mean, it's not like it. It's not like it matters. But I love the fact that they explained, because that was always the thing. Even as a kid, I'm just like, wait a minute, you build this giant fucking death weapon, and it's got a hole that you can drop a bomb down and it blows the whole thing up like that. Why would you bake? And so I'm glad that they explained like why. Although I did think it was odd. I did think it was odd that the Death Star required only like 6 engineers to make.
Yeah. Like Kevin Smith said, man, most of those guys were carpenters and
But when he's like, "Are these all your engineers?" and he's like, "Yep," I'm like, you made a planet. Like, you made a planet with a weapon that kills other planets, and you can't field a basketball team? Like, what the fuck? Like, yeah, it's just these guys.
These 6 guys here, that's them.
These 6 old guys. Yeah, absolutely. That's them. Yeah.
Oh, I like that too, where it's like, yeah, he didn't question the guy showing up. I guess he may have known why he was there, but he's like, it's fucking pouring rain.
Yeah.
And he's like, bring them out here. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, man. How did you not see this shit coming?
Oh, they're all getting raises.
Right. And he didn't even say, well, hey, man, it's kind of wet out here. Maybe let's go inside. He's just like, oh, no, yeah, we'll go get them. Hold on.
No, yeah.
We'll be right back.
All engineers, please report outside. All engineers. Frank, Harry, Kevin, James, Leo, and Ernest, please report outside. Director Krennic has a parting gift for you.
Right, yeah. Krennic's here. We're all getting bonuses.
We're all want to get paid. 'Cause I don't know about you, but anytime I've worked at a company and a certain number of people all get called into a room together, it's never for good news.
Yeah, no. And
especially at the end of a project.
Yeah, and that's never happened to me in a situation where I was called to leave the building in the rain for this particular meeting.
Well, all of engineering, please report to the parking lot. All of engineering, please report to the parking lot. Oh yeah, it's cool.
So my other problem. No, it's cool.
Go on.
Like the only other thing that I thought was like, Jesus Christ, was the thing where they were going to tell if the pilot was telling what's his name, the pilot, I forget.
Oh, Bodhi or whatever his name is, or
Bodhi. Yeah. I should remember that, Bodhi.
Yeah.
Because Point Break, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, they're like, oh, this is going to make you lose your mind.
Yeah.
but we're gonna learn the truth. And then they had this really awkward scene with this CGI creature, and it's like the one time in the movie I was like, Jesus Christ, that was CGI.
Yeah.
Like the rest of the movie, I couldn't really tell.
I don't know.
And
I thought Tarkin. I thought, like, I know a lot of people, from what I was reading, people were like, they thought Tarkin looked great. I thought he looked incredibly, like, not real.
like Smeagol.
Yeah. Like, well, what I said
Yeah.
to Linda was, I said, you know, now, like, I said, video games have come to the point now where they can do a pretty good job of recreate, like Jon Snow there, Kit Harington. I don't know if you played the last Call of Duty, Infinite Warfare. I mean, he's in it, and he looks like Kit Harington, and I knew exactly who it was, but it would be weird if like I was watching Game of Thrones and then fucking Kit Harington from Call of Duty showed up. Like, that would be weird. I'd be like, that's CGI, and I kind of felt like, to me, it looked that way in this one as well.
I'm breaking away from. So here's what I've got on my screen right now. I have a reticle, and I have the HUD, and I see your name, and everything else is pitch black. I can't see shit.
I'm fucking up Rebels.
We'll need your video for this part.
Yeah, no worries.
I can't see shit. Anyway, so I thought it was funny where they're like, where they tell you like, and even when they capture Jen and everybody and throw them in the cells, and they're like, who's the guy next door? And it's the pilot, and it's like, yeah, he's supposed to have lost his mind, and they're like, aren't you the pilot?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine now.
Exactly.
And then
yeah,
they let him fly the ship. I was like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Why would you let that asshole fly the ship?
Yeah, I lost my
I would never
mind.
do that.
And I can run network cable. I'm good.
Yeah. I was like, that was my one major disconnect. I was like, are you serious? Like, I couldn't believe like they let him fly the ship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean,
I wish
I
I could see what
remember
they
I
were
remember when that happened. I thought that was odd as well. I was like, wait a minute, I thought he was supposed to lose his mind, and I'm assuming it was just supposed to be, I don't know, they were supposed to be like, look how evil they are, which we already kind of knew, right? But
right. And then, not to spoil the ending, but my only other sort of critique or disappointment was that I really enjoyed the characters, and I was, with the slight possibility that somehow they could bring, K2SO into later films. I'm pretty sure that, unfortunately, we've seen all we'll see of them.
Oh yeah, no, they're dead. Yeah, they. Well,
Yeah,
I guess Felicity Jones there, she did in her contract did have a one sequel stipulation. So some people are wondering if maybe she'll show up in one of the young like Han Solo movies, because it's conceivable that she might kind of travel in similar circles. But on the one hand, I was actually surprised that they did kill everybody. But at the same time, I mean, they kind of had to. I mean, I just don't see any other way that they could have done it. And what I was talking to Linda about it, I said the thing. I don't want to say that I liked about it, because that makes me seem kind of cruel. Is that some of the deaths were like not grandiose, but I mean they like Jin and Andor, like their deaths were more dramatic. I said, but some people, they just died, like Bodhi.
Yeah.
He does that
Bodhi,
whole big thing where he finally gets it, he connects it, he's like, great. He looks over, there's a grenade, dead.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, how many people died that way too?
right.
It was like, oh, grenade. Like, well, geez. I couldn't believe, like, even the Donnie Yen and the other guy, it was just like, oh yeah, no, they fell next to a grenade, so.
Well, Donnie Yen, he got shot, didn't he?
I know the grenade got him, I thought. The shrapnel.
No, the
from that
grenade. I thought the grenade got the other guy.
It did.
remember.
I thought they both went out that way.
No, I thought Donnie Yen
Or maybe.
died. Oh no, Donnie Yen died. No, he died. He died. That guy. He died in the other guy's arms, and then he shot a bunch of people, and then the grenade killed him.
Right. Okay.
I think. I don't know.
No, but I'm actually getting killed somehow. Staring at
What
the black
is-
screen.
What the hell is shooting me?
It may be me. I can't see shit. I'm walking towards your dot, yellow dot, just firing. So.
Oh no, there's an
not be-
X-wing.
Oh, okay. I'm shooting my tracking missiles, but I can't see shit. Hey, we're gonna win. We're escorting the AT-AT. The thing about that is like, oh, I love the guy who was one of Saw Gerrera's guys. The guy with the like, he looked like the guy from Mad Max, like with the
Oh yeah.
yeah, the breathing apparatus. I love that
Yeah.
guy. And I was like, man, really? No more of him? No more of, like, Jesus. So many characters that I even dug Saw Gerrera. I was like, man, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, although
I want to know more about that guy.
Yeah, although oh god, who's the guy who plays him? I can't remember his name right now.
Forrest Whitaker.
Forrest Whitaker. Sometimes Forrest Whitaker can be like really understated, and I always feel like when Forrest Whitaker is being a little more amped up, it almost slips into camp like
Yeah.
too easily, and I kind of felt like
Yeah.
that was what was happening here. But I love the fact that he's got two fake legs, fake feet. He's got the breather. He's got to keep pulling it
Yeah.
over. Like, I mean, that guy, he'd seen some shit. I'm like, I want to know.
Yeah, right.
I want to know more about that guy.
Exactly.
But yeah, it was really well done. I would very much like to watch it again because I'd like to see kind of how my opinion of it changes.
Yeah.
Because going into it, I really didn't know what to expect because I did the same thing with Force Awakens. I tried not to learn too much about it ahead of time because I didn't want things to be spoiled. And I was really,
Yeah,
excited.
I did the same. I was so against like learning shit about it. I remember when my dad asked me what the movie was about, and I was like, all I know is it either takes place right before A New Hope or it ties A New Hope into Empire, and I don't remember which one of those is right.
Mm-hmm.
Outside of that, I knew nothing about it.
Yeah. And in fact, I think it was like the second 2.5 minute long trailer or whatever. I watched that and that was it. I was like, I'm not watching any more TV spots or trailers or anything.
I think the first trailer is all I saw because I remember when what's his name shoots the AT-AT with the rocket launcher and it turns its head to the side, and I was like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah. Well, what's funny is if you watch the trailers now, there's a lot of shots that were in the trailers that were not in the movie. Like there's this one scene where she's running in the bridge towards the control panel at the end, and the TIE fighter pops up in front of her. There's that scene where she's dressed as the pilot, and like the lights all come on, and you're kind of like, wait a minute, what? Is she? There was like a bunch.
That's right. Yeah.
But I know the movie had a lot
that.
of reshoots, so I'm assuming they just felt that some of the stuff that they had before wasn't didn't fit in. So
yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to. I guess I don't even know when. So I guess the next one would be episode 8, right?
Episode 8. Yeah, I think so. Next year, right?
Okay. And then who's making that one? Is that Rain somebody or other, or
I can't remember. I know it's not Abrams, but Abrams was like, now he's like, man, I wish I'd have signed on to do another ones.
All right, now I need to look this up. What would we call that? It would be episode 8, right?
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let's see. Do. Yeah, and then of course, Carrie Fisher passing away this weekend. That sucked. That was
Yeah, it did.
Let's see. I guess we'll just put in Star Wars Episode 8. Here we go. Well, I didn't know that Tom Hardy was in Episode 8. Did you know that Tom Hardy's in Episode 8?
Yeah.
I love Tom Hardy.
Me too.
He is a stormtrooper, rumored. Ooh.
Ooh.
Ryan Johnson.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I know who that is.
You don't know Ryan Johnson? Ryan Johnson did one of my favorite movies ever, Looper.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, he did 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. He did Brick, which I tried to like, and could not. I could not get past the speech, the 50s speech with the TV. Like I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. I own that. I don't know that I've ever actually made it all the way through it.
But yeah, Looper is one of my favorite movies. I love that movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good stuff.
So cool. Yeah. So there you go. And we can see, if there's anybody else that's supposed to be anybody else rumored other than just Tom Hardy. Let's see. Yep. Not that I can see. Well, Benicio del Toro is going to be in it, so that's good.
That's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. So any plans to see it a third time, or are you going to just wait until it comes out on video for that?
Yeah, most likely I'll watch it on Blu-ray the next time I watch it.
Yeah. That's
I said, I don't know. I don't know if you want to do rankings. I thought maybe that. I don't know if you feel comfortable with that.
Hold on,
after just watching it once.
Autistic said that he said that Tom Hardy was the best part of The Revenant. Did you see The Revenant? Because I did not.
I did.
Okay.
That is a long fucking movie.
Is that a true statement though, that he's the best part of The Revenant? Or is the bear better than Tom Hardy?
All right, so I would say that if I were giving out Oscars for The Revenant, that I would give Tom Hardy Best Actor and the Bear Best Supporting Actor.
You want to know one of my absolute favorite Tom Hardy movies is, and it is a stupid, quiet movie. He has this show called. He's this movie called Locke, where he plays this guy named Ivan Locke, and he's like a concrete job foreman. Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm. I guess I started I accepted your invite and it said the session wasn't available anymore. He's like the foreman for concrete pouring jobs. And the entire movie, it's like an 84 minute long movie, and the entire movie is him driving in his car and talking to people on the phone. And it's awesome. I fucking love that movie.
I'd watch the shit out of that.
It's great. Like I'm telling you, it's great, and then you're gonna watch it and be like, "What the fuck is this?" And that's it.
No,
the entire movie is him, and he's just.
I love that. That's like Buried with Ryan Reynolds and Pontypool. I love those movies.
Oh, Pontypool, yeah, absolutely, yeah, Pontypool. I like that movie. I haven't seen the Ryan Reynolds one. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, he's buried alive, and he has a cell phone with half a battery, and that's it. Yeah. And that movie feels like it takes you in so many different places, and you literally never leave a coffin.
Right. But Locke had been streaming on Amazon for a while. I don't know if it is now, but if you get a chance, you should see it. It's really well worth it. Yeah. Okay, but we'll do rankings real quick, and then we should probably call it. So what are we ranking?
Where do you put this one in the grand scheme of things out of the 6 or 7, I should say, or 8 now, I guess, right? If it's 8. Mm-hmm. So
it's better than 1, 2, 3. I mean, obviously.
Obviously, that's everybody says that, yeah. But like
Um,
people are saying it's like Empire good. Are you in that
no,
camp or what do you think?
no. I think for me, I think Empire still stands as the probably the best one
Yeah.
because the fact that they had the balls to end Empire the way that they did, like that was them
Yeah.
basically saying, "Come at me, bro." Like, I mean, that was them. I mean, when you think about how that movie ends and
Yeah.
the uncertainty, and it's such a fucking dark ending. I mean, it's hopeful, but it's also you leave it with so much like, what the fuck? Like when you think about
Yeah.
everything that happens in Empire, like first of all, the movie moves. That battle on Hoth is great. Han flying, the TIE fighter chase through the asteroid belt is fantastic.
Yep.
You find, I mean, Lando betraying them, finding out that Darth Vader is Luke's father. I
Yeah.
mean, all of that, and then it ends the way that it ends with Luke
Yeah.
gets his hand cut off. Han Solo is God knows where, and now you know that they're related, and it's just like, bye, see you in 2 years or 3 years or whatever.
Right.
I mean, come on.
Hopefully we'll do another one.
They wouldn't do that now. I mean,
No.
I mean, I don't even know I don't know if they would because they're so worried about making sure that whatever. I don't know. I don't know if I don't watch. I don't watch. Actually, I take that back. They would do that now because they take movies and they just cut them in half, and it fucking sucks.
Well, everything has to be a trilogy now.
Right. So, but not for the right reasons, and I think that was a
Right.
perfect. Despite the fact that it doesn't end, it is not wrapped up. It still ends well. It still stands alone very well.
Sure.
So, would I consider this as good as Empire? Probably not. For me, I think that I personally feel like I'm just gonna throw the prequels out because
Yeah.
that. I mean, Star Wars is good, but I do think that it's the weakest of the bunch. But that's only, I think, in part because of it was the first one. They had a lot of groundwork to cover. There was, I mean, you're
Yeah.
still introduced to new characters and such. And I think, but for me, kind of the novelty of some of the new that has worn off a little bit. And I more appreciate I personally like Jedi probably more than I like Star Wars. I know that some people would probably not be thrilled with me about that, but
Well,
I would
here.
I would probably put if I had to do it, I think I would do. I would say last would be Star Wars. Like if I had to put them in the order in which I would want to watch them again. All right, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay.
I would want to watch Empire most. After that would be Force Awakens. After
Okay.
that would probably be Jedi. Then
Okay.
then Rogue One, then Star Wars.
Okay.
I think Star Wars and Jedi would probably would be interchangeable.
Yeah.
But because I mean I just watched Force Awakens again and I love that movie. Like I know that it
Oh, I do
riffs,
too, yeah.
I know that it riffs on the Star Wars stuff. Like it's kind of a retread stuff. But it just like my wife was making fun of me. Like basically from the moment that they entered the shield generator thing to set the detonators until Han dies, I watched the entire movie. I turn in my chair so my body is not facing the screen, and I put my hand over my eyes like a visor, and I watch it like that. Like I cannot bring myself to sit full on and watch it. I can't. And my wife, we were watching, and she goes, "Look at you! What is wrong with you?" And because she doesn't get into shit like this. She's just like whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, "Don't talk to me." I actually said that. I put my hand up. I was like, "Don't talk to me." Oh my God, it was a very emotional moment. All right. So what about you?
So, all right. So I'm again too deep on Rogue One. I think for me, it's still like I'd say Empire obviously first, Jedi second. I think Man, I probably still put Force Awakens third and Rogue
Mhm.
One fourth. So my list is sort of echoes yours. I don't know. It depends on what day of the week it is, or whether I'd want to watch Rogue One or Force Awakens. But definitely
Yeah,
one and two for me are still Empire and Jedi.
yeah, yeah. It's funny because when we talked about seeing movies in the theater, I actually saw Raiders. Raiders is the movie I remember seeing in the theater most. Like that was
Hmm.
my. I remember like after my parents split up, I went to move. I moved to New York with my mom and my sister, and then that summer. So that was like in April or May. It was April. So then,
Hmm.
like a couple months later, it was still summer. So I went back to Virginia uh, to see my dad, and I was still friends with the kids that I had gone to school with, and so we all went to see Raiders. And I remember sitting in the theater and that shot at the beginning of the movie where Indy hears the gun being cocked behind him, and you still haven't seen his face
Yeah.
yet. Like you've only seen the back of
Right.
him, and he just tilts his head and
Yeah.
then pops the whip out. And I just remember going, "Holy shit! This is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't need to see anything else. This is the greatest thing I have ever seen." And it just it never went down from there.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, but I'm just glad now that Star Wars is kind of back to being a thing that I can enjoy because I really had
Yeah.
like lost hope, for lack of a better word, with the prequels. As long as LucasArts was the person who was making them, I just kind of felt like they
Yeah.
were never, they just weren't ever going to be any good. So I'm glad. I mean, Disney Disney knows how to make good movies. So
Yep.
and they know how to make money off of good movies. So,
Absolutely.
but cool. All right. So that is it for us. Thank you very much, everybody, for hanging out. I know. Let's see for the schedule. I'm still playing Dead Rising 4. I'm going to be playing that shit till I die. Um, I know the holidays have ended, so the spirit of the game isn't quite the same. But it is what it is. I do have Battlefield 1, so I think I might stream that campaign after this.
Nice.
Before I jump into Watch Dogs because I don't know if I want to go from one open world thing right to another.
Sure.
And I did pick up Oxenfree in the end of year sale along
Oh,
with
okay. Cool.
Battlefront. So, what about you? What do you got coming up?
So actually finished chapter 4 or whatever you want to call it of the
Yep.
Batman thing tonight before we did this. So I'll be probably putting that up tomorrow, and I want to finish that game before the end of the year. Like I want
Okay.
to finish. So I'm gonna knock chapter 5 out pretty quick. So I started doing it without commentary because I realized that A, nobody watches me play the game anyway, and B, if you go back and watch the video, I mean, the audio is the game audio and me reacting to the things like holy shit, and that's all that's there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like I don't, because I'm so into the story that I'm not
Sure.
talking over it because I want to, So
Right.
I'm just gonna play. I'm just gonna play it without commentary and just finish it up. And
Yeah.
then of course I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna do The Witcher or not because at this point
Ooh.
to stream The Witcher seems. I'm gonna play it. I don't
Yeah.
know that I'll stream it. It just I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. That's a
And after
big
that, I'm not
game.
sure, man.
That's a big
Yeah,
game
it
to
is.
stream. I mean, even
And
if you
everybody's.
wanted, even if
I'm
you
the last
wanted,
person to play it on Earth, so.
well, even if you wanted to stream it, I mean, there's just I don't know. I mean, man, it would take you forever. I mean, that's the thing for me. Like when I've kind of started now that I feel like when I stream, I don't play the game outside of just streaming it. So games take so much longer, which is why
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 15. I was like, I should stream this, and I was like, I'll never finish. Like 2017 will be the year of Final Fantasy 15. That'll be
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Autistic wants you to stream The Witcher. So
I may do this. I thought about this. I may
Yeah.
do because I've never played a Witcher game, so I may do uh the first week in the life of a person who's never played The Witcher.
that would be
And just
great.
maybe do,
Yeah,
like,
that would actually
just
be,
do that. You
yeah,
know?
that would be a lot of fun. And just like I'm kind of going well for Watch Dogs 2. I don't know if that would be something that I would show everything, or if I would treat it more like Mafia, where okay, I'll stream story missions, but me just running around, getting collectibles and that bullshit. That nobody wants to see the busy work.
Right.
Which hasn't stopped me from doing it in Dead Rising. But,
We still have to do the co-op Dead Rising because I have
absolutely.
that shit too. So
Yeah, I didn't know if you had it. So maybe.
yeah, I've got it.
Okay. So the next show is going to be our kind of end of 2016 and beginning of 2017. We'll kind of talk about the stuff we like the most about 2016, and if we have time, get into what we're looking forward to for 2017. So that will be the next show. And maybe we'll play some Dead Rising 4 co-op while we do it.
I like it.
So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody who has tuned in to all of our streams and watched the YouTube videos this past year. We really appreciate all the support. And, of course, feel free to spread the word and retweet and like on Facebook and all the things that the kids do. So from myself and Mitch, thanks for hanging out, and we will do this again in 2 weeks. So good night and have a good evening.